Hello, welcome to Take 10 on Tuesdays with the Tennessee Tribune. I'm Sandra Long Weaver, and I'm the editorial director for the Tennessee Tribune. Today we have very special guests who are running for judge positions throughout Davidson County. And we have 5 of the 7 African American women who are with us today. So we'll start with Sheila Calloway, who is running for juvenile court. Next to her is Joy Kimbrough, who is running for criminal court judge. Allegra Walker, who is running for General Sessions Judge, Division 4. Andrea Lee, who's running for General Sessions Judge, Division 2. And Cheryl Gwynn, who's running for General Sessions Judge, Division 9. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, candidates, let me start with a basic question. I'd like to know a little bit about your backgrounds. So Sheila, can you tell us just a little bit about where you come from and why you've decided to run for a judge in 2014?
I certainly can. I am Sheila Calloway. I am a native of Louisville, Kentucky. I came here in 1987 to attend Vanderbilt University. I got both my bachelor's degree in communications and my law degree from Vanderbilt University. After I graduated from law school in 1994, I started in the public defender's office. I worked in the adult division of the public defender's office until 1998, and then I transferred to the juvenile division of the public defender's office, where I stayed until 2004. At that time, I was appointed by then Judge Betty Adams Green to a spot of juvenile court magistrate. So from 2004 until November of 2013, I was a sitting judge, a magistrate in juvenile court. And I heard a lot of cases, understood the workings of the court and the policies. Judge Green retired, and so her seat became vacant. And because of that, I decided that I wanted to run the juvenile court and be the judge. And so that is why I have decided to run for the position of juvenile court judge.
Very good. All right. And Joy Kimbrough, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run?
Sure. I'm from here in Nashville. I went to Whites Creek High School. I went to Tennessee State University. I received my degree in chemistry. I got my master's from Cumberland University, and then I went to Southern University Law Center for my JD. I've worked as a police officer. I've worked at the Tennessee Attorney General's office, and I have done criminal defense work for almost the majority of my legal career. I have decided to run for criminal court judge based on injustices I saw in that courtroom. And because of that, I decided that I will not talk about it anymore or complain about it anymore. I will run for that position, and that's what I'm doing now.
Okay, tell me a little bit, when you say you've seen injustices, what injustices? Can you tell us just a little bit?
Well, criminal court, unlike the other courts you'll hear about today, is a court that has great sentencing power. In criminal court, you can be sentenced to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, life. In criminal court, you can even be sentenced to death. And I saw an alarming rate of people being sentenced for nonviolent crimes to excessive sentences. This court in particular, I have observed the judge be rude and disrespectful. And I just decided I would no longer take it. And I don't mean just to me, I mean in general, to mothers and grandmothers that come in there and take the stand on behalf of their loved ones. So for those reasons, along with a plethora of other reasons, I've decided to run.
Okay. All right. And I believe you are running just against one other candidate. This is a nonpartisan.
Yes, ma'am. This is a two-man race.
A two-man race. And also, Ms. Calloway, this is a two-man race for you
That's
as
correct.
well.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. Let's turn to General Sessions Court. And we have 3 candidates who are there. Allegra Walker, Division 4. And you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to run.
Thank you. I'm a FISC graduate, 1993 FISC graduate. I also went to law school at the University of Toledo, came back to Nashville to make that my home. Joined the public defender's office here in 2001, did criminal defense work along with Miss Sheila for a short period of time before she went on. Joined the district attorney's office here in 2007 to then prosecute. And I've done a myriad of other things while I've been here in Davidson County. Reason why I choose to run for judge, the timing is perfect for me. I feel as if I have a very balanced view of the system. I've done defense work as well as I've done prosecution. While I've been in the prosecutor's office, I have focused on domestic violence, family violence, and elder abuse. And the division in which I'm running in, Division 4, has a domestic violence court component to it.
Oh, it does.
So it hears about 30 to 40% of domestic violence court cases that comes through Davidson County. And I have an expertise in that. I've prosecuted thousands of domestic violence cases. So I have a good skill set for that position, and I look forward to taking the bench.
Okay. And you're running against how many candidates?
One other candidate.
One other candidate? Okay. All right. And Ms. Lee, can you tell us a little bit about you? Now, this is not your first time
No,
running.
no.
You were originally appointed
Correct.
to the position in 2003.
Correct.
And tell us a
All
little
right.
bit more.
I'm Andre Ellen Lee. I am a lifelong resident of Davidson County, born and bred, as they say. My only time away from Tennessee was when I was in law school at the University of Detroit, in Detroit, Michigan. It's too cold up there. I decided that when
So
you
you
have to
came
start
back.
wearing long underwear in August, it's time to come back to the South.
I think
And so that's what I decided to do. When I graduated from law school, I started working here at the public defender's office. I think that's a great place to start out to get your teeth wet and everything. I started out doing misdemeanor docket, then I graduated to the adult felony docket, and then I got a law partner of mine who was a magistrate in juvenile court in child support under Judge Shukoff, asked me to come on to hear cases on Saturdays, and that's when I started assuming the bench. And I did that through working through 1998 when Judge Betty Adams Green got to be juvenile court judge, and she asked me to come on full time in the neglect dependent, and I was there until 2003 when there was a vacancy in general sessions because Mark Fishburne not graduated, but elevated to criminal court, and so that left a vacancy. And I campaigned for that vacancy with the Metro Council and was appointed. And I left juvenile court, and Sheila took my position there. And
Praise God.
yeah, I'm the oldest of the group, so started doing that, and it's the mental health court.
I see.
And having practiced, I've been practicing, licensed to practice more than 30 years. And having worked that long in the criminal justice system, I see a lot of people who come through the system who don't necessarily benefit by going to prison or to be incarcerated. A lot of them have mental health issues that have gone undiagnosed and untreated. And as a result, we have a revolving door for some of our citizens. And I think that the mental health court plays a big role and can play a bigger role in addressing the issues. If our system of justice is supposed to be justice, it doesn't mean locking everybody up. It doesn't mean that it should be a free ride by any means. But that when there are issues that can be identified, I think it's incumbent upon us to address those issues to make sure that the people who go through the system truly get a benefit from it. Our whole criminal justice system is supposed to be rehabilitative and not punitive. And that's why I decided to stay in that position. I lost the election in 2004.
I see.
And so Judge Eisenstein fulfilled that position, and then he ran again, and now his time is up, and he's not going to run for re-election. So I am going back to my home
And
in
seeking that position.
mental health court.
Great.
And I have 4 opponents.
You have 4 opponents.
I have 4 opponents.
And you are in Division 2.
Division 2, correct.
All right.
Correct.
And Cheryl Gwynn, let me turn to you.
Yes.
And you're also running for General Sessions Judge
I am.
in Division 9.
Yes.
And this is your first time running for office as
It
well.
is,
So
it
can
is.
you tell us why? Give us a little background about yourself.
Sure. My name is Cheryl Gwynn, and I'm here. I was born here in Nashville, Tennessee. I did attend school here as well, and then did attend college and law school. I began college in Atlanta, Georgia, at Clark Atlanta University, and then I went to law school in Lansing, Michigan, at Thomas Cooley Law School. After I passed the bar exam, I came home, and I always knew I wanted to do something in politics. I just didn't know what, and definitely didn't think it would be at this time in my life, at this age. But when I came home, I began practicing, opened my own practice in 2007, and I specialized in criminal defense cases as well as civil litigation. So I did get a chance to have a good blend of both sides of the spectrum, which General Sessions Court does cover, which is both the criminal cases as well as the civil cases. I guess the reason why I'm running is twofold. One of the big reasons is that this is the best time for me to run in my life at this point. I have the time and thankfully the family support to get through it. And secondly, because I do believe that you can have rehabilitation before incarceration in our judicial system. I think that what should happen is that, especially for nonviolent offenses, we should be looking at how to get those individuals to be productive citizens in society. We should not just be focused on what the punishment aspect should be. So for those nonviolent offenses, we need to focus on how to reintegrate those people into society, helping them to deal with changing that behavior as well as their circumstances, to make sure that we know, or making sure that we're able to get them on the right path and making sure that they want to be on that right path.
Right.
So we would have them showing that the work that they're putting in is actually changing their circumstances as well as their behavior. So those are the two reasons why I think I'm running at this point. I think it's 6 opponents in my, I know that 6 people have pulled a petition at this point. So I think I have a very interesting race, to say the least.
I see.
But it's been interesting campaigning so far.
Okay, and that's leading to my next question. I wanted to ask each of you, how has campaigning been? This is an unprecedented year where we have seven African American women who are running for a position of judge in Davidson County. 5 of you are here today, which is also a historic moment for us to hear from each of you. And I know that you're not sharing campaigns, but I'm interested in how your individual campaigns are going. So I'll come back to you, Sheila. Can you talk a little bit about how that's working?
I would love to talk about it. I'm having a lot of fun with my campaign. I have the ability to go a lot of places, meet a lot of new people that I never even thought I'd touch. One of the things that I think was my strong point when I was a magistrate on the bench, that I had a lot of work with a lot of our community partners. I worked a lot with the Metro-Nashville public school system. I worked a lot with Oasis Center, with the Youth Development Center, and so I had already some headway in the youth oriented agencies around town. So this has opened up the ability to work in a whole lot of other areas and meet a whole lot of new people. One of the benefits, I think, that some people might see it as a disappointment for me. I was a juvenile court magistrate up until November. And because I decided to run, the current judge had made a policy that if you were to run for any other position, you'd have to resign.
Right.
And so I did have to resign, and so I am trying to do a little practice on the side so I can maintain my family life and be able to.
That's important.
Yeah, and pay bills and eat. But on the other hand, it does give me the freedom to go out and do a lot of things in the daytime that I may not have been able to do had I still been working. So I'm having a great time with this campaign. I never thought I would be in politics. Never thought I'd be in politics. And so this is a different life for me, and I'm actually learning to enjoy it.
Good. Okay. And how's it going for you, Ms. Cameron?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I'm excited about it. I'm enjoying it. I, as well, am enjoying meeting people. I am overwhelmed, surprised, and appreciative for all the support I have received. I have a great, excellent, I couldn't even imagine, campaign team. Those that help me like on a daily basis are there for me. And I'm so encouraged and excited about people I'm meeting continuously to say, hey, I want to help out. What can I do? I want to be a part of this. You know, they feel it. And I try to explain to anybody I meet or come across why I'm doing this. And I want them to know I'm not doing this because I just want to be a judge, or I have some great desire to be a judge. I'm doing this because I feel I have to do this, not just for myself, but for everyone. And so when they hear that and feel it and say they want to be a part of it, it's a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling. So while it's a lot of work, it's worth every second.
Good. Okay. And Ms. Walker, have you also been able to get around Davidson County and meet people, and how's it going?
It's very busy. Like they said, it's hard work, and it's not for everybody. I probably work 12 to 14 hours a day, but I enjoy it. It's something I want to do. I'm hungry for it, so I don't mind. It's a strain on the family, of course, but I mean, my family's been supportive, you know. But it's just a lot of work, and I'm excited about it. I meet great people around the county that are helpful. I've gotten lots of resources that I never expected. You know, people want to help and volunteer and do things, so it's been exciting.
Good.
It's probably about the best thing I've probably ever done.
Good. And Ms. Lee, how is it for you? This is your third time.
This is my third rodeo.
So it must be something about
it's because
and being out
you get to go out and meet a lot of people and share ideas, and you'd be surprised at the number of people in our community who don't know about our criminal justice system and who are surprised about what goes on and what they can do to be a part of it. I recommend to anybody who is retired and say, don't worry about the stories. Go sit down in court and see how your system is working. Go see how the judges treat people that come into their courtroom. See how, what goes on a daily basis in your system. Because there will come a time, unfortunately, there will come a time when it may be you, your child, your grandchild in the courtroom. And you need to be able to know the ins and outs of what is going on and who is making the decisions that affect people's lives for a long period of time. It's like Joy says, the respect that is due any individual. When I was on the bench, I always addressed people by Mr. and Ms. We never did first names, because it's not that type of, it's not a social gathering. And people have to have respect. If you want respect, you have to give respect. And unfortunately, in some of our courts, we don't have that. And so I think it's incumbent upon us that when we have an opportunity to do something and to make a change, that we do that. And that's why I decided at the stage in my life that I would try again.
Okay. All right. Ms. Gwen,
Yes.
so how has it been for you? This is your first time running for office. Have you enjoyed getting out in the community? I know it's hard work.
Yes, to all of it. But no, I really have enjoyed it. I have met so many wonderful people, and no one is distant to you. No one has rebuffed you when you come in and you explain what you're doing or what you're running for, or they all seem to be interested in understanding why you're running and what you're running for, and wanting to know if they can help and to offer. And I could not have imagined that when I began running. That wasn't what I expected to receive. I expected people to just sort of nonchalantly take your information and just sort of walk away. But they really want to know about it and what's going on. And thankfully they do, because it does affect all of us. It's not just one community, it's not just one age group. It is everyone that is affected by the judicial system. So thankfully people are interested in wanting to know, and I know I can speak for everyone. We're happy to talk about it and to explain and to give them the best understanding that we can of what's going on.
Okay. And you make a point, it's affects everyone. And so as everyone was talking, I noticed heads nodding, and it seems like you're all really passionate about seeking justice for everyone.
Yes.
So I'm going to start with you this time and have you speak to that point. And why is that important?
That justice for everyone? Oh my goodness, because we have a responsibility to each other within this society. We are not just one person. Even when someone is committing a criminal offense, we cannot just send them off to the wayside. At some point they are released. At some point they do come back to the community, and we have to help them to make sure that they're going to be a productive citizen in society, because that helps us all as a whole. When you go to General Sessions Court, which is where I'm running for judge, the largest number of people you see there are between the ages of 18 and 30 years old.
Wow.
That's our youth.
Mhm.
That's where, when I get old, that's who's going to be my doctors, those are going to be my lawyers, those are going to be our future judges, our congressmen, our senators, and I could go on with that list. If we are not doing things within the criminal system to help them, we're not creating a society that's going to expand. We're limiting our society, and that's not what we should be doing. We should be inclusive to everyone. So regardless, especially for people, my big platform is for nonviolent offenders. And when you have nonviolent offenders, sometimes things may be going on in their lives. And what you can do, even as a judge and in that courtroom, you can have them where they can express that they are asking for assistance. And in asking for assistance, there are places that they can be sent to that we don't have to look for extra money for.
Right.
And there are numerous places like that here in Nashville where there's already federal money or grant money that's coming in that those people can go to and then still come back, and their lives are not just defined by that one conviction. They can now come back into society and be productive. And I
Right.
think that's what we're looking for.
Good. And Ms. Lee, how do you feel about the seeking justice for everyone?
One of the things that I'm very concerned about is, as Cheryl says, we need to look at what happens after the event. How are they going to be reintroduced into the society and into the community and into their families? Because it's such a stigma to have a criminal conviction on your record. It's amazing to me how nonchalant some people are about having 30, 40 driver's license cases against them. You know, yeah, I know it sounds astronomical, but it happens.
Mhm.
And it's easy to happen. You go downtown, park at a meter, forget that
pay.
you didn't put enough money in it.
Right.
Your $2 ticket
Becomes 25.
becomes 25, and if you have a court date and you miss it, comes 75.
Yes.
Before you can blink an eye, you got a court cost $750. And now,
Right.
thanks to our state legislator, you don't get to keep your driver's license if you don't pay your fines.
Right. That's a
And
problem.
how are you going to get around in Davidson County if you don't have a car? You have to go to work. You have to get your kids to school. You got to go to the grocery store. Can you imagine a mother of three loading 3 children and groceries on Metro's bus to
Yeah.
get home, and then have to walk from wherever the bus stop is to their place? You know, it's a lot of things in our community that we can change and that we should change, and we shouldn't be afraid to change it. You know, judges are not supposed to be so very proactive, but I think once you get a voice, that you got the voice for a reason,
Right.
and that you need to do something. You need to leave the place better than when you started, and that's my goal, to make sure that when I leave this earth, my 7-year-old granddaughter has a bright future, and I don't have to be worried about her when I lay my head down.
All right. Ms. Walker?
I think my ideas about justice is to be a judge that's fair, that's compassionate, that can balance those. Somebody's going to be respectful of the person's. Have a forum where they can feel comfortable that they'll be heard and they'll get a fair shot, or they'll have their real day in court and no one pass, unfair judgment upon them. Additionally, justice, in my opinion, is as it relates to that domestic violence component to it, to be able to sit on that bench and to ensure that you're able to make good decisions, because at the end of the day, you have lives that are in the balance that you're responsible for. 1 in 4 women are victims of domestic violence.
That's right.
Nashville ranks number 6 in the country.
Mhm.
Tennessee ranks number 6 in the country of women who are killed by
Right.
their domestic partners. So domestic violence is real, and it's a very big concern here in Davidson County. So I feel as if my skill set as a former defense attorney as well as a domestic violence prosecutor would be a good asset to the bench.
Okay.
And I'm just excited, and that's justice for me.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kimbrough?
I would definitely want to balance firmness with compassion. we do have to protect people as well. So I'm never for just saying, and I hope that it hasn't been taken that way. I'm not saying let's give everybody a second chance. Let's rehabilitate. There are some people that do not need to be out here. They're scary, okay? But then there are some where the system goes too far, and it becomes just like housing and making money off of incarcerating individuals. I would want to see people treated fairly, equally across the board. I'd like to see where justice really is blind. That's the type of change I want to see in the bench. That's what I want to see carried out. And I hope that that's something that I can bring to it.
Okay. And Ms. Galloway?
Yes, I'll say as the juvenile court judge, you have, different than the criminal courts and the general sessions, you have the ability to do more policy making. And you have the ability to decide what type of programs and things that the juvenile court is going to offer for our children and our families. And when I think about justice, I think about bringing in policies, bringing in community partners to work with our juveniles and our families to make it more fair for everyone who goes to juvenile court. When I think about what justice means for a judicial office, I know that it's someone who's going to be courageous, someone who's going to be courageous enough to make the hard decisions. And sometimes a hard decision is sending a child to the adult system to serve out their sentence. But sometimes that hard decision is saying, no, this child deserves a chance. This child can be rehabilitated in the juvenile system. The judge has to be the one that makes those courageous decisions, whether it's a media agreement among the police officers, or whether it's not. It's a courageous decision that the judge has to make. And you have to have a judge that's compassionate, that sees everything and sees it in the eyes of someone who has compassion. And you have to have a judge who is committed to the community, both for the victims, for the offenders, someone who is committed to bringing in people to help our children and our families. And that is why I'm running for judge, because I am that judge. I am the one who's courageous, who is compassionate, and who is committed.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all. I'd like to thank all of our judicial candidates today. This is the Tennessee Tribune. I'm Sandra Long Weaver. And what I would like to do is have all of you say your names and the position, the judge position that you're running for one more time for our audience, please. And we'll start with you, Ms. Calloway.
Yes, I am Sheila Calloway, and I am running for juvenile court judge. I am leading the way with Calloway.
Joy Smith Kimbrough. I'm running for criminal court judge, and our slogan is Joy for Justice.
Okay. Ms. Walker.
Allegra Walker, and I'm running for General Sessions Judge, Division 4.
Okay.
I'm Andre Lee, and I'm running for General Sessions Judge, Division 2.
Okay.
I'm Cheryl Gwynn, and I'm running for Judge of General Sessions Court, Division 9, Win with Gwen.
All right. Thank you again. And I look forward to a reminder to our audience. The primary is May 6th. Please get out and vote. Thank you.